It's Wednesday on Your View. Welcome to the show. I am Murayo Afolabi Brown. As always, I have the ladies with me. Hello, Mariam Lunge. How are you today?
Fine. I'm so excited today.
What exciting?
I was just bombarded with good news everywhere. My cousin who just got a job, my auntie who got a promotion, my cousin who got a fantastic job. So I'm so excited. Like, I'm surrounded by blessings. So my congratulations to all of you. I'm happy for you. It's well deserved, and God bless you.
Oh, that's
Congratulations
too.
Yeah.
That's a good news. Okay, so I'll share my own good news. So hello, Tucker. How are you?
I'm very good. Grateful to God. Work. You know, I feel like Omowashirisha, like you were looking for work, you have seen the work. But Nigeria will humble you. That's just it. So, but you know, I've been sharing challenges of my leading a few groups and how a lot of people will be, there's expectations on you to coordinate activities, and when you try to do it, there's very little response, and it's just a bit frustrating. But we can point fingers that government is not talking to us or that we're not replying, but we're doing it in little ways. Many people
in our little corners.
Yes, in our little corners we're doing it too. So good. But I'm happy.
Good.
I'm happy with where I am, and I'm looking forward to the future.
So it seems like we got a blue memo. Only
Yeah.
Mariam didn't get the
Outlier.
outline. Obiajulu Ugbo. Importer, exporter. How you doing?
Good news.
Hey.
Also missing.
Summer sales has started.
Where's the bell?
The bell. I rang the bell at home. I'm already posting today, so just come on my page and buy. I'm selling for men as well. It's been long. I posted for men.
Your meal collection.
Yeah, my meal collection. So I'm selling everything, discounted rates. Just come by and get ready for summer. Somebody now chatted me like, when did Nigeria now start having summer? I say, Auntie, please be coming.
We are selling markets.
And we are selling markets international.
It's an economic summer.
I'm telling you. So calm down. Just buy market and move on, please.
So I have very good news for my fans. I'm not going to mention the news here, but I mean, something happened yesterday. And I'm so excited. So since you're sharing good news, like, yeah, might as well. We have very good news for my fans, and I'll be doing a video about it and posting it very soon. I must congratulate Sunday Moses. He
Our own, very
Sunday
own.
Tallest. He was appointed by the presidency special advisor on videography. So Tallest is now in the presidency level.
He's in Aso Rock.
Yes, so, and then my former boss, Tony Subera, he was also appointed as special advisor to the president. Congratulations, sir. We love you. I mean, Tony Subera, I was telling him that he can't read my book without seeing Tony Subera's name. His name was littered all over my book. Congratulations to you. We wish you the best and hope that you do well, and we know you do well anyway. All right, let's go on a break now. When we come back, we go to the front pages of the paper. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So before we go into our paper review, it's important to also remind our viewers again that we're taking stories, live stories from you. Please send it to yourview@tvccommunications.tv. Live stories that you experience that you'd like the ladies to discuss, and to hear our views or get views of our viewers on it is something that we'd love to continue to do right now. So please send your stories, your unique stories, to yourview@tvccommunications.tvc. Okay, I'm going to start with The Nation. Adamu's incapacitation talk sparks row over Akeredolu. Senate to investigate 9.3 trillion spent on petrol subsidy in 30 months. Intercepted vessel destroyed in Delta with 150,000 metric tons of crude worth $86.8 million. Chai. VAT likely to go up.
Chai.
Border reopening plan in progress, says Customs CG. No ministers list yet, says APC. And how Wike helped Chinedu to win Rivers by Okocha. Okay, let me start with the major headline. So, yesterday, during a meeting, the National Working Committee, the chairman, Senator Abdullahi Adamu, made a comment that has caused a row within the PDP and the APC. So what happened was that he was speaking and was saying that the state chairman was talking about the fact that they are hoping of the safe return of the abducted Ekiti state APC chairman and also the speedy recovery of Governor Akeredolu, who, according to Senator Adamu, is incapacitated by sickness and getting treatment abroad. That statement sparked a row because PDP said, wait, PDP said, let us reverse more. If you are saying he is incapacitated, why don't you come clean with the true situation of things? Let us know what he's dealing with and if he indeed cannot speak to his people. So they're saying that even if Akeredolu is extremely incapacitated, it is Senator Abdullahi that will be telling us there should be a proper formal information from his media team to the world on exactly what is going on. Of course, the acting governor of Ondo State immediately clapped back, saying, that's Governor Lucky Ayedatiwa and others said, listen, it is extremely wrong for them to say that governor is incapacitated. That he spoke to him on July 9th, that he's in good spirits, is recuperating well and being expected back in the office to continue his work. So there's nothing incapacitated about him. He's fine, he just needs more time to recuperate, and there's nothing wrong with that governor. So it's not left for you to decide which one you want to take. All right. That story, Nation?
Yeah, so yesterday, I took a story about a vessel that was intercepted with 150,000 metric tons of crude. So there's just an update to give us. I was asking why they set it ablaze. So they're giving us an update. They said, first of all, this particular vessel had been intercepted twice before. In 12, or has been intercepted twice in 12 years, and then was released to the Navy so that it could be, handled. And then here we are again, finding them, stealing crude oil again. They say that they handed it over to the military this time around, and the security operatives that were involved in the interception or the arrest of the vessel, and it was set ablaze to serve as a final deterrent, to such activities. But they also give us more information. They said that this particular vessel is owned by a Nigeria registered company, Holab Maritime Services Limited, with registration number RC813311, and the original name of the vessel was Ali Riza Bay, but the names keep changing in order for them to evade security surveillance. So, the question here is, so if they had been arrested before and handed over to the Navy, why did they get away? How did they get away? And in this time around, to when they were intercepted, there was talks to hand them over to the same Navy. That was when, the military and the security operatives got involved and set it ablaze.
But can I say something about this, please? Nigerians are worried about the fact that we get crude, we find crude, and we destroy it. We don't have enough crude. We need to save the crude, that's one. Secondly, we need to publish those people that are caught. It seems like there's a very huge syndicate that's trying to hide the details and the information once they are caught. Just quickly destroy it so that we can move on. Nigerians want to know what is happening. Why are we wasting crude? Who are we protecting?
Yeah. Publish the names of the perpetrators.
Yes.
Yeah. Do an investigation within. If the Navy had taken it before and then the vessel still found its way out to do what it wasn't meant to do, somebody within was culpable, and the person should be publicized.
Next story.
The next story I want to talk about is rather the story of the season, which is ministerial list, but from the perspective of the former Chief of Staff of the Rivers State government, Chief Tony Okocha, who was actively campaigning for the former governor of Rivers State, that it was impossible for our president to have won Rivers State if not for the help and active financing of the then River State Governor, that's Wike, that the slot that should go to River State for ministerial appointment should not go to anybody apart from Wike. Then he started mentioning names that neither his former boss, ex-governor Rotimi Amechi, nor Senator Magnus Abe were interested in the group work for President Tinubu, but that former Governor Wike took it upon himself to fight, to canvass, to campaign, and make everybody vote for him. And so he's saying that that slot should go. So we're working towards the, you know.
And APC has repeatedly said there's no list out here. Everybody should just calm down. Please, everybody should calm down.
That's why they are positioning.
So the House of Representatives yesterday said the federal government, they were asking the federal government to lift the ban on the sale of fuel around communities within 20 kilometers of Nigeria's borders. So it's also urging the Nigerian Customs Service, NCS, and other relevant agencies to ensure immediate stoppage of the ban to allow duly registered fuel stations within the affected communities be supplied with the petroleum products. We know that the ban was given to sort of stop the smuggling that was happening there. But they said now that they have removed subsidy, the people in those areas are finding it very difficult to even get the product. And so it's causing a lot of hardship for them. But now that it's been, subsidy has been removed, they can actually source for the products, buy it, and then sell. But they're saying as well that the ban, the smuggling will take, it's not something that will just easily dissipate.
Yeah.
It will take some time. And they mentioned that a lot of, some of the land borders have not also been reopen. You know, the president gave a directive that they should open land borders for importation. They say it's just those ones that were targeted. They still have a number of them that have not been opened for business.
Okay, the punch. Naira devaluation. Nigerian students face tough times in the UK. Tuition soars by 60%. Police kill sit-at-home enforcers. IPOB declares 14-day lockdown. Panel storms Autom's automobile workshop impounds vehicles. FMDQ exchange launches derivatives market. SEC investigates Otudeko's FBN share acquisition. PDP governors demand credible polls in Bayelsa, Imo, and Kogi. APC crisis deepens as Omishere labels Lukman black sheep. Okay,
the major
headline.
Yes, so the report is saying that many Nigerian students in the UK are, suffering right now as a result of their tuition being increased based on the Naira policies, the monetary policies that they had to do. Central Bank of Nigeria had to release, according to the president's directive, float the Naira, so to speak. So it has affected their fees, which has increased by 60%. And they said the Naira had fallen from 471 to $1 to now 750 to $1 and 586.4 pounds to 957.2 pounds. So students who had saved their money in Naira, maybe they had an amount of money that was supposed to pay like 9K in the UK. By the time the Naira was floated, they now are able to just pay 5K, and they're looking for an additional 4K. So a lot of them are not able to even have access to their results because, you have to log into the portal. So if you don't pay, even your last result, you're not able to see it. It's causing a lot of issues for them. A lot of people are not able to take their admissions anymore because they do not have money. So they are worried about this. They are complaining about this. We really don't know how.
And their parents seem to be begging for concessions.
Yes. Is there any way they can make it easy for the students to be able to do school?
Reality check now. We're not. It's tough. Yeah, definitely.
But now we need to revisit.
Yeah.
Okay, let me go on a quick break. When we come back, we continue with this review. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Doubt and fear doesn't occur at the canvas. It shows in the canvas. It shows the conation of raw earthen material slabbed, stroked, and molded at a pace provided by the doubt and fear. Every move weigh in the struggle of one to the other, merging the past to the present, brushstrokes of colors seen but not known. For when the wailing stops, the pieces settle down in abject beauty erected for a century of a century. Speaking, advocating, protesting as the arts are meant to be.
So, have you ever wondered what happens behind the curtains of a man's mind? Or perhaps you're one of those who wonder what men talk about when they gather. Well, here goes. Imagine what it takes to put together the perfect cocktail. Or maybe mocktail. We need a bit of sports, a sprinkling of current affairs, some very deep topical issues, and last but not the least, a healthy dose of grumbling of those we love to hate. And yes, you guessed it, women. So, if you catch the drift, then you're onto something. We will provide you with the right insights into most of your curiosities, right here within this beautiful cocktail we call the Black Table. So,
Thanks for staying with us. We're still reviewing Punch and history in Punch. Anybody? Okay, panel Storms Automobile Workshop. Who has that story?
Yes, I do. I just thought we had done it. The Asset Recovery Committee that has been set by the new governor of Benue State stormed the automobile workshop owned by the former governor of Benue State, that's Samuel Otom's workshop, and they removed some vehicles. Chief Press Secretary for the governor said that it's such a pitiable situation what the former governor left behind. He said that when he left, he vandalized furniture, window blinds, electronics, and other household appliances, and then carted away so many cars that, including an ambulance, a press crew bus that was attached to the office of the governor. And so, based on their investigation, 29 vehicles that were attached to the governor's office are nowhere to be found, even after, they had gone to this automobile workshop and towed away vehicles. The former governor and his deputy had gone to the courts and had asked, that the court they tried to secure a restraining order to stop this committee from, getting anything from them, until the case is being seen to. But it looks like this present governor has flouted that, or we'll wait to see what the court determines, if he has indeed flouted it or it was within his rights. It's very serious. These are some of the things we've discussed before, where an outgoing governor, where in this case allegedly left with property meant for the state and has made it his own.
Okay, so let me talk about a source within the Securities and Exchange Council, SEC, has confirmed to Punch that there's a probe ongoing in SEC of the contentious deal that was published in the Nigerian Exchange Limited of Oba Otudeko acquiring 4.7 billion naira shares in First Bank Holding, that's FBN Holdings, by the chairman. So, according to this report, there is an investigation is ongoing following the issue EcoBank had raised when they wrote a petition asking the FBN Holdings to reject Otudeko's acquisition of 14% of the company's shares, which will make him the majority shareholder. So there is an ongoing probe. EcoBank had raised that dust earlier, and people were not sure what was going on. But SEC, according to this anonymous source, is saying that SEC is looking at the acquisition to be sure that everything is okay, and that maybe EcoBank might have a serious grasp in what the point they're trying to make, so that Otudeko would not become majority shareholders in FBN Holdings. Okay,
so there's a really sad story about a Lagos mechanic that defied an 8-year-old girl. They live in a face you one room, and the mother said that the neighbor is married. His wife calls that her daughter should help them in doing some house chores, and she didn't see anything wrong with it because they usually send her daughter on such errands before. So she said that the guy's name is AGK, and the daughter came back. She went out and got back home and met the daughter crying and asked her what happened. And they found out that AGK, the 34-year-old husband to the lady, had raped the daughter, the 8-year-old, yeah. The 8-year-old had raped the 8-year-old child, and she said she took the case to Mirabel Center. They've already.
No, the woman should be arrested.
The
mother too, because the truth, we've talked about this thing over and over. How would you send an 8-year-old child to a man's house?
No, he's married. He's a married man.
And he's a neighbor.
He's a neighbor. They live face
children.
You send your child to.
No, you are different. When you grow up,
we have reached a level.
They send us messages around.
That's
anyway.
Things are different now. There's a lot of talk out there. There's a lot of conversation. You don't send an 8-year-old child to a next door neighbor to go clean.
Put the spotlight not on the mother.
Definitely.
So the police station, the police. She said that what is most annoying for her now is that the police they said they've closed the case. And they've released the man, and the man has moved out of the house. They can't get access to the man. When they contacted the police, the public relations officer of police in Lagos, SP Benjamin Ohudeyin, he said that they had detained the man for a while, that they should get the evidence of the rape taking place, and that they couldn't get the medical report. But the woman is saying she has Mirabel Center has the medical report that, but they couldn't release for her to take to the police station. Now the police released the man, and the man is not available anymore.
The man should be detained.
The
man is arrested, mother arrested. But all the adults in this are both culpable. Both of them are culpable. Daily Sun. House of Reps stops CBN and universities. Senate standing committees. Kakpabio snubs ex-governors and PDP ranking senators. Expert list causes solutions to Nigeria's rising inflation. Benue Assets Recovery Committee storms Otom's house carted away with exotic cars. Subsidy removal, why we are yet to resume petrol imports, says all marketers. Power market aggregator Aboki FX raised the exchange rate to 800 Naira to the dollar. And ex-Lagos state, anger. Tension in Southeast as ECPA declares 2-week stay-at-home from July 31st. Okay, which story are we taking?
So, operatives of the Ebonyi Police Command has killed 2 hoodlums who were allegedly enforcing a sit-at-home in the state. According to the story, they said the hoodlums came and shot sporadically into the air within the Oposi area in our house, Zara local government area of Ebonyi State, and they were trying to enforce a sit-at-home order on Monday when the operatives came and engaged them in a gun drill. So, they also said that when they engaged them, the hoodlums engaged back, and one of them was neutralized. The other ones escaped with varying degrees of bullet wounds. And the police said they recovered 1 blue Highlander SUV riddled with bullets, 1 pump action gun, 5 live cartridges, 4 handsets, 1 Somek fireman generator charms, 9 expended shell of AK-47 rifle ammunition, among others. And you know that this EPA is the leader of a splinter group that came out of IPOB, and they have declared a 14-day sit-at-home as a result of what has happened. You know, they declared one 14-day sit-at-home where the government was saying, where IPOB came out to say that it's not them, that they are not planning to do that. So first of all, I want to find out where this Ekpa is from. Simon Ekpa doesn't sound like an Igbo man. He understands the peculiarity of the situation of Nigerians right now. So shutting down businesses for 14 days is not working for the people of the Southeast. Somebody needs to get a hold of this person. That's not what that's not what we're supposed to be having right now. So he keeps doing this over and over again, and nobody's apprehending him.
I know the government is trying really hard
outside
to.
Nigeria.
Yes,
he lives in
was what I was.
He doesn't understand the realities of the people. These people are a business people. That's all they do. So you can't keep. And they're saying now that all the all companies working in the area will be shut down for 14 days.
Well, it's not his job to understand. He's a terrorist.
Yes, and he's using the people to hurt the people.
Yes.
So it's not his job to understand.
Okay, let us take another story.
Yeah, Ojikutu was the first female, female former deputy governor of Lagos State. Full name is Sinatu Ojikutu, was advising politicians concerning their decision making. And there's something about what she said that I really like. He said that politicians should not allow fake and mere accolades to becloud and their sound judgment. That most of the praises they will be getting are deceptive, and it should not spur them into taking actions that will be wrong. He said no leader should judge people's feelings by what they see, based on or people's character by what they hear, because some evil people will be drumming things into their ears. That leaders need our support and prayers, and I think it's extremely important that we say it, because we're in a new, even those that are coming back, there's a lot of appointment taking place, people are saying all sorts of things. A leader must be able to make up their mind by themselves, weighing all the options and not just listening to what people are telling you or listening to the praises.
Yes, I have House of Reps. They're sitting on they're talking about two important issues. So it's the hike in fees in the universities and unity schools, and also, you know, the new policy that's saying that account holders should sort of attach their accounts to their social media. So on the first one, they said that the committee has mandated tertiary education services to probe the increase of fees by federal universities so as to find lasting solutions to the challenges in tertiary education. It's also asking the Federal Ministry of Education to review the new school fees regime in the federal government colleges and revert to the old regime. It's urged the federal government to increase budgetary allocation to education sector to ensure that Nigerian students have access to quality and affordable education. And this, you know, they're discussing this because they say that increasing fees at this time when, you know, economically things are hard, is going to even make the situation worse for parents and students, may increase the number of out-of-school children or dropouts, and also that some students are already agitating because of how hard the situation is, and we don't want to create a situation where they may have to, you know, come out on the streets or pick up arms or placards. You know, it will not look good for the federal government. So they're asking, you know, to like there should be a stay on this increase until it is a better solution is reached. And it, you know, it just makes me, you can't help but compare it to what is happening with our Nigerian students outside Nigeria too, with the 60% hike in fees there. So is it you come home, you're facing the same issues, you travel abroad, the same issues. The Nigerian student is really facing quite a lot right now. So I think that we should look at that and see how we can stay for a while until we get out.
Moving on quickly now to Vanguard. We have 1 minute left. PDP governors, APC differ over security situation nationwide. Reps ask FG to lift ban on fuel sale in international borders. NAFDAC warns public against consumption of artificially ripened fruits. NNPCL no longer writes rules for petroleum industry, says Kyari. Chinedu expresses sadness over Plateau killings. PDP suffers setback as Akpabio names chairman for special committees. And scores escape death as container truck rams into vehicle in Lagos. Okay, our president had said it was most unfortunate the killings, the orgy of killings, and an innocent 8-month-old baby in Foreign Liver community in just South local government there. Was speaking by the statement made by the special advisor to the president on special duties and communications and strategy, Mr. Dede Alake. The president condemned in strong terms the most recent killings in Mango local government. He also said that all the leaders in the communities, religious leaders, community leaders, traditional leaders, social cultural organizations, Arewa Consultative Forum, Jamaatul Nasr Islam, and CA, and that's Christian Association of Nigeria, must work together to develop and foster genuine and long-lasting peace. While reaffirming his government's strong determination to stamp it out, he's saying that he has directed security agencies to fish out the masterminds of the dastardly acts to face the full wrath of law. Okay, we'll see how that goes, because we used to say this a lot during Buhari's time. We hope that we won't have to repeat it again next time, but hopefully that something really happens and something gets done. Okay.
Yeah, so National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control, NAFDAC, I know we are running out of time, are warning members of the public against consuming fruits artificially ripened with calcium carbide. They said also they are going to clamp down on illegal hawking of drugs in the open markets across the country. They want to take away substandard medicine, unwholesome foods, corrosive cosmetics off, you know, the public's ability to get them. So they said that consuming some of these, you know, fruits, vegetables that are ripened with carbide causes cancer, heart heart diseases, kidney and liver failure, and it may also cause frequent thirst, irritation in the mouth, nose, weakness, permanent skin damage, that it's overall not good for us to consume. So we must check the fruits that we're buying, make sure that they are not artificially ripened.
Okay, that's all we can take on Front Page Review. When we come back, on to our hot topic of the day. Stay with us, we'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
So, have you ever wondered what happens behind the curtains of a man's mind? Or perhaps you're one of those who wonder what men talk about when they gather. Well, here goes. Imagine what it takes to put together the perfect cocktail. Or maybe mocktail. We need a bit of sports, a sprinkling of current affairs, some very deep topical issues, and last but not the least, a healthy dose of grumbling of those we love to hate. And yes, you guessed it, women. So, if you catch the drift, then you're onto something. We will provide you with the right insights into most of your curiosities, right here within this beautiful cocktail we call the Black Table.
Ladies and gentlemen, make welcome the grand comedian of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Gbenga Adeyinka the First. OJ right here, 7 of 7, like you already know.
Benga right here, 7 of 7, like I'm beginning to know.
It's now time for the questions.
You don't scare me one bit. Bata bata, I go drink. So,
Okay. So now one chance for Inter. My first question. Do you remember the names of the winners of that edition of StarQuest?
of course I do.
Why do you?
And I hate myself for this because I have this question for you. Final question. Where outside Nigeria and what year? Think you're the only one that can be wicked.
I am thinking because I know back in the day.
Don't think. Answer my question quick. You are thinking too much. I don't like it.
The UK.
Final answer. Okay. I said, God, please, let me to perform outside Nigeria.
Wait.
And God gave me a show in Ghana. Drink, my friend, drink. I know.
I don't overthink this thing. See where I can.
Yes, you overthink them.
I would say you should catwalk.
Government tweeted in Yoruba. Also, in a related story, Bauchi Assembly reportedly adopts Hausa as the official language of communication in their state. Following the development, Hausa will be used in addition to English in conducting the business of the House, according to Daily Trust. The Speaker of the House, Right Honorable Abubakar Suleiman, announced this at the plenary shortly after member representing Shirak constituency, Honorable Awal Hassan, moved a motion on Tuesday, July 11. So the point is, we've been discussing how it's important for us to return to our indigenous languages. Obviously, many children these days, the average young child out there probably doesn't understand their local language. And we've been advocating for us to be speaking our languages. But the government is taking it a notch higher. Instead of us, it seems that the government is possibly finding a way to introduce languages for a different reason. People are now asking questions. Why would Lagos State government tweet in Yoruba? Are you weighing to some people?
Are you?
Sorry.
She's speaking the Yoruba
I'm speaking the Yoruba. You know, are you subtly communicating something else to certain people? Or is it just a real direct plan to ensure that our children begin to understand and appreciate their local dialect? That's the conversation today. What are your thoughts on this? And call us on 081 0764 1679 090 241 63440. You can always tweet to us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag YourViewTVC so we can read your tweets. All right, so before we started the conversation, we reminded ourselves that even Lagos State government, for as far back as quite a number of years ago, every Thursday, I think, or Wednesdays, one day during the week, they hold plenary in Yoruba. I guess the idea was to foster the language, maybe to identify with the language. But if we look at it vis-a-vis the last elections, because that's what this is about, people are saying, is it possible that the Lagos State government is trying to impose on the language because they're trying to reiterate or reinforce the fact that Lagos State is a Yoruba state? I mean, these are the different conversations online. What are your thoughts? Let me come to Mariam. Want to start?
No, I think the Yoruba person should.
Okay.
I have my opinion.
So when the Lagos State started the issue of language being used, I think I was trying to get the date. It was 2017. The conversation was politicized at that time. And it was because some people felt that Lagos State had Igbo representatives in the House of Assembly, and that was why they decided to start speaking Yoruba once a week during plenary. That if you are a House of Assembly member in Lagos State, in a state that is a Yoruba state, then you should be able to speak the language. Some of them complained at the time. But I think that we've always spoken about identity. If you don't know yourself, one of the core part of our identity is our language. It is who we are. It helps to shape who we are. And the more we publicize our different languages, the more people have a stronger sense of identity and their attachment to the soil, to where they are from. So there's a good intention. The timing of it might seem political, but there's really no good time to do the right thing. If it's the right thing to do, let's do the right thing. So if Bauchi is talking about Hausa, as long as every other person, other smaller language within the community don't feel like they've been sidelined, then it's okay. Lagos is promoting Yoruba. The only other language that is obviously a Lagos language is Egun. Yeah. And I was happy to see that as they tweeted in Yoruba, they also tweeted in Egun. So that meant that Lagos State understood the fact that it wasn't just about the Yoruba people within Lagos. We also have the Egun people who are indigenous to Lagos. The only other third person, other part of Lagos that I didn't mention is there's a bit of Ijebu. Ekpe speaks like Ijebu kind of Yoruba, but they can speak, they can understand Yoruba. Is Egun that is a bit different from Yoruba. So I'm 100% in support of indigenous language being tweeted. I think that people should learn. It would also encourage students to start thinking more in that line when they realize there's a commercial value in future for them knowing their language.
So first off, for me, it's a good idea. I love the idea of, yes, I do, of, encouraging our indigenous languages. There's some of our languages that are going extinct, some places. So on that level, I agree. But I'm a bit concerned for places like Plateau State with 40 or so languages. I know that the South too, they have states where in one state they have many languages as well. I know there's something about picking a language and deciding, okay, this will be the main language. It also gives the people who speak that language like a
superiority.
Like some sort of superiority over the other communities. And because the Middle Belt, Plateau State especially, we are constantly having this crisis about who really belongs where, who owns what, this sort of thing. I don't know how it will translate to places like that. But I like, yesterday we were studying French with my daughter and learning everything, and I just thought how interesting it would be that people outside Nigeria will be learning Nigerian languages and doing it in school. So I like the idea, but how we talk about localizing some things. Right. I see it working in the Southwest. Many people speak Yoruba, and I don't think that there's any conflict really in the Southwest about based on the language that you speak. Right. Many people are willing, and it's easy for them to just speak the Yoruba. But in other places, it's a big, it's a contentious issue. It will cause fight. So I wonder how, you know, it's going to reflect in places like Plateau State, in South areas, and other middle belts.
Yeah, so I think it's a welcome development. I'm always a proponent of going back to the roots, going back to our local languages, and you know, understanding where we are from, what our identity is, and language is a part of it, like Tope rightly said. However, this is just what I call, you know, trying to solve the matter from the surface, aside from the fact that people have said it's politically motivated because of the last elections and all of that. It goes beyond just speaking it at the House of Assembly. So I am somebody who understands that if you have to play active role in leadership of a particular place, you must understand the people, you must understand their language, you know, to be a part of it, right? But I know that we, like for instance, in our schools, we do not have qualified, no longer have, we used to have back in the days, but we no longer have qualified teachers in our local languages. Is a deficit that we need to start working on. So it's not just about having people at the state houses and houses of representatives and assemblies to speak the language because they're in a particular place. What are the plans to make sure that going forward we are raising children who understand their local languages? And I understand Miriam's point of you know, contention that it may bring, especially in some locations where there are lots of languages in that area. But I know that growing up, we're told that for every, like for instance, the three major languages, when they mention it, they will say, they'll come to a geopolitical zone that has one language, and they will unanimously pick one that will be the standard, the one that you read in school and the one you write in school. I know that there are different Igbo languages, but there's one particular one that we read and write. That's the standard one. So I think the conversation will be coming together as a community. Which of this one are we picking to represent this language? That may be something that Nigerians, everybody's language cannot be picked, because we will just be, it will be like the Tower of Babel. We'll be speaking and nobody will understand. But we must come to an agreement. And if we want to move forward, sometimes it's not about my language is more superior. It's about the greater good. Okay, can we agree that we are going to take this language on and work on it? So it's just not about the House of Assembly. They need to start telling us what they're doing to our schools, our teachers.
Yeah, so you're right. It's beyond that. But let me take Dr. Demetrius from Calabar. Thanks for calling, sir.
Hello.
Good morning. You're live.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd like to make contributions on that Indigenous language issue, because it's actually a fitting issue. First of all, I enjoy that thing that people say I'm a first-time caller. So I'm a first-time caller. Hello?
Yes, we just clapped for you.
Hello, am I still on?
Yes, you are. We just clapped for you.
Listen to your
phone. All right. Okay, so, thank you. So, you know, the Indigenous language issue, it's a very serious problem. Like, I've heard some of the contributions you have made there. Various areas, regions, local governments, in Cross State, for instance, we have, like someone has mentioned there, we even have some communities where the men speak a different language, dialect from the females and all that. You know, so those kinds of issues, I'm really wondering how we can handle it. And yet, it is a very serious problem to national development. You know, I'm a Christian, please, but I also remember the issue of the Tower of Babel, when God had to turn the, you know, the language of the people, and they could not understand themselves. We will continue to have these problems until we do something, especially as Africa. It is my earnest view that before now, Africa should have, you know, the leadership of Africa should have thought of a unified language. Also, I wonder what kind of language should we choose. But there's the possibility of using very popular languages. We have something like Zulu, we have Hausa language, maybe we can also think out with the Yoruba language or something like that. You know, we can think of coming that way, and it's a possibility for us. Imagine that we learn, every individual, every little child in a primary school learns to speak one language. Imagine the kind of impact.
Oh, thank you so much, Dr. Demetrius. I mean, that's a good point he's making. We're going to go on a quick break. When we come back, we'll try to wrap up on this. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Ladies and gentlemen, make welcome the one who can make time stand still forever, Mr. Kelechi Amadi. How are you doing, sir?
I'm good, my brother.
You love that intro, Abi?
Yeah. It was great.
Okay,
Thank you.
We try like that.
Thank you.
Now my question, which I feel is a cheap question.
Oh, go ahead.
What does ISO stand for?
That is it. I think I'll drink.
No, you're joking.
I'm not joking.
Kelechi Amadi. No. Shay, you didn't whine me. You're whining me now.
I think I'll drink.
Huh?
No problem.
Okay.
I've always known it as ISO. I never bothered to know what it means. I know what it means, but I never bothered to know what the acronym is. Tell me the brand of camera that I use, so much so that I even became an ambassador. That's very easy. It's out there.
It's supposed to be, yeah.
I just said, look, I give you this one as a token of my appreciation.
Sony.
Drink!
I'm not done. You did not say final answer.
It's final answer.
You did not ask me if that was my final answer.
You don't have any choice again. It's only
Nikon.
how many cameras do they have? My
Nikon.
friend to drink. I gave you a very easy something.
Nikon now. Ladies and gentlemen, make welcome pioneer Positive Force member, dancing queen of the 80s, non-conformist, Afrobeat historian in her right, and long-standing member of the multiple award-winning all-female show Your View, Omoyeni, Yeni, Anikulapo Kuti, aka YK Power!
Thanks for staying with us. You know, this conversation reminds me of when I was back in school in Rutgers University, and they said we should pick an African language, and then Yoruba got the highest vote. Okay. And then they brought in the professor from Florida, then Professor, I think it's Udutola. He taught us, I thought I was going to get an A. Like, I was just taking a class, like, you know what, I got a D minus. I was like, what? You know, but, so we understand the importance of language. And we also even said on this table, but the points BC, which I think is really crucial, is that if we really want to project our indigenous language, there's a way of going about it. Equipping our teachers, educating our teachers, making sure we have more Yoruba teachers, Egu teachers teaching, or even pick one, just like the last caller said. If it's Pidgin wants to make our official language, whatever it is, let's pick it and teach it. But when you just start tweeting in a language, or start speaking it in the House of Assembly, you are sending another subliminal message. And people are thinking, because you have a community of people who are different.
It might be a way to start. You might not be able to do like this holistic change, but if people start, if a person is tweeting and somebody can start saying, I'm a Yoruba, I studied Yoruba in school and I'll be interpreting every tweet from Lagos State into English. Nice. And that's somebody is an idea. So other persons that know how to do so, it sparks a conversation. How well do you know Yoruba? It's the impact is huge. But BC said something about choosing a language. The caller to say, let's just choose one language. So our identity is linked to our language. You can't just choose a language. Europe doesn't have one language.
But Pidgin is more universal.
No. Pidgin differs from Ghana to Nigeria to Liberia. Everybody's Pidgin is different, and it's not our local language. It is our way of infusing our language and the foreign language that they used to enslave us. So what we are saying now is the language they used to dominate us. They use language to dominate. If I come into your house and I am able to make you start talking like me, then I have taken over your mind. I've taken over how you think. I can influence what you do. so that you don't look at yourself and think you're not as good as the person who you are speaking like. Why are we all in that space? So it's an important thing. So we must, when we talk about language, where we are going to is very deep. And it's a long thing. And people already feel oppressed. I know that man will deal extensively with that. Where you already feel like if anybody comes here, they take over. It's like when we talk about entrepreneurship and business, people are scared that when Igbos come into a business, it's like immediately, there's a sweep. And why is that? They have a skill. Others have power. And they know that if this person comes to this place, they will take over. So knowing who we are, and preserving the uniqueness of our culture is too important.
Okay,
and
let me take Olayemi's call. Good morning, Olayemi. Thanks for calling. You're live.
Good morning. This is
Welcome to the show.
Just to add to the topic on ground,
yes.
I believe that there should be a lingua franca in Nigeria, because we cannot not be speaking the same language together, especially when it comes to assembly or anything is taking place. So it's better we have a lingua franca to understand ourselves. That is the problem, the issue we are having in this country now. Because we don't understand ourselves, we believe in tribal and ethnicity issues. That's why we don't have a common. Hello, are you hearing me?
We can hear you clearly. Go ahead.
That's why we don't have a common issue to solve together. So I believe there should be a lingua franca.
Okay.
And please, sorry, I want to ask of my friend, Nima, quite a long time. You have not been seeing her.
She's on medical leave.
Thank you for airing my view.
Thank you. All right.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah, I was going to say that you people know me. I am all for peace and progress, you know, let's live happily ever after. And so even though I'm going to raise these issues, it's not about insisting that we're so different we cannot be united. It's that we cannot have a blanket solution for some issues. And the thing with language is, now I'm talking specifically in places like Plateau, Taraba, you know, states like that have multiple languages and have had issues about their identity. Kaduna State, thank you, about their identity. Language, as we all agree here, is you know, it's an identity issue. And for so many people, especially in Plateau State, your language, your culture, your lifestyle is so distinct from another in the same state, a few kilometers away, another community, a different language, a different belief system, a different, you know, way of life, different. And these people independently feel that they are important, their voices must be heard, their language and their lifestyle is important. And so to come to people like that and give them like a blanket language, or which, whether we like it or not, language comes with a culture. It will not work. So I know that in South Africa, they have, I think, 11 official languages. But before, you know, the Mandela became president, I think it was Dutch, English, and Afrikaans, the language that was spoken by the Dutch. It was later that the African languages were added to it. It was important. And if it wasn't so important, when they just continue with those English, Afrikaans, and whatever, it was important for the people of South Africa that their languages were made, were represented and reflected as a national language. It is not a simple matter when it comes to language to say, you know, let's just pick a language and let's just move kumbaya. No, because you're saying to me that when I speak this language, I also understand the culture that comes with it, the lifestyle that comes with it, the belief system that comes with it. I'm saying that this particular language has superiority, or is better used to express myself than this indigenous language. And I think it will be a tough one to convince people.
Okay. Let me take one. Lumide. Thanks for calling, Lumide. You're live.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm a first-time caller.
Welcome to the show.
Something I already said what I have in mind initially. But in addition, now, every great nation or country of the world have their own language. The England, Russia, China. I have a partner that went to China to do a course. And he said everything that you need, they have it. but you must understand their language so you can be able to use their machine.
Yeah.
So for us to be great as a nation, we need to have a language. It does not matter how many languages that we have, our official language. We must use that. I don't mind even if it's a pidgin, because we have different pidgin in Nigeria. We have Ijebu pidgin, like Papa said earlier. We have Igbo pidgin. We have Delta pidgin, which I understand even as a Yoruba. So our language must be something that we need to use to make ourselves great. People have said it. They have used their language for us to be a create to them, whether we like it or not. English is not our language. So we must use our language as our official language.
Okay.
We want to be among the great nations of the world. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you very much. Please let me come to you.
So, I would not say we should have just one language because we're very diverse. But we have 6 geopolitical zones, right? Is it possible that we pick one language for each zone? It's something that we have to, and this is not sentiments. This is me being objective, because before a language is picked to be a national language that represents this group of persons, it goes through tests. There's what they call language testing. They look through the intricacies of the language. Does it cover a number of alphabets? Can they use it to explain different words? We have different local languages, but not all our local languages capture everything in totality. So it will be a test that will be conducted, and then they will say for like the Igbo land, we pick this one, the Middle Belt, we pick this one as a national language for that place, which will be presented when you're talking about Nigeria, you hear things like we have 6 official languages from each geopolitical zone. So the language itself does not mean that you cannot preserve your culture, because though I speak the regular Igbo and write the official Igbo, I speak my local dialect. I have my local cultures. I haven't lost any of it, right? But I'm able to say, okay, I can read and write in Igbo language because this is your official language. So it doesn't stop you from preserving your own culture, from preserving your own local language. It's just that this local language, we had to just choose one to be national, to represent, so that we have a sense of, and for me, I understand that we are so divided in a way that if you don't pick this, and you don't pick this one, suddenly starts feeling superior to others. We need to get to a point to understand that if we're going to be one Nigeria, there are some sacrifices that we may have to make. Right. So in marry your person so that 2 of you are speaking your local language in the house and you preserve it with your children. But when you're writing, you're presenting one as, from one geopolitical zone. Right. It just makes things a lot easier. And if we keep pushing this down the line, it will get to a point where we will abandon all of our local languages. They're already going extinct in most of the places. I'll come to that in a minute. Abandon all of them and pick pidgin. Which one will pay us better? Let me take this call from, I believe, Olayemi, I think. Thanks for calling. Miriam from Kaduna, I do apologize. Miriam from Kaduna, thanks for calling.
Hello, good morning.
You're live. Go ahead, please.
So, my view in this point.
Hello, Miriam. Oh, we lost that call. I was having a conversation with someone recently, and she was telling me that, do you realize that in Nigeria we're semi-lingual? And the reason why we're semi-lingual, because we don't really, like most Nigerians don't really have a language anymore. Yeah. Because we don't even the English, we don't speak it well. That's why we're discussing the results in the recent JAM results. Yeah. And she's trying to make me understand that we're having issues with serious English because our children, even ourselves, we just learned language. We are talking to everybody, just like the regular colloquial English, street English. You are speaking that, and even the local language too. You didn't learn it properly because you picked up the road. So really, the average Nigerian is just semi-lingual. We don't really grounded in one language. You're right. So in any of the languages, and that is a problem. So if there is going to be a concerted effort to bring back that one language, maybe not one language, maybe per community, there must be a deliberate. There must be a deliberate attempt to actually bring out the religion. This is what the state government of Lagos is trying to do. Say, okay, we must project Yoruba as our identity. Now, maybe that will subconsciously tell teachers, parents, that listen, this language you must start speaking is because if you want to move anywhere within Lagos State, you need the language. Maybe to make it important.
So we were at a party on Sunday. Yeah. And the governor of Ogun State came into the party. And as he arrived at the party, the band started playing Isheya, Isheya, Omo Ogun, Isheya. Murayo did not understand. Isheya is the anthem of Ogun State. That's our anthem. Okay. I know it. I connect with it. I listened to them sing the song, and it was like, you know, Omo Ogun Shole. I'm an Ogun State person. I'm not a lazy person. That's the word. The Ogun State is, he said, Isheya, that's come and walk as a child of Ogun. When I heard it, as I'm still getting like shivers when I think about it. Just because the language communicates the essence of what it takes to be an indigenous of Ogun State.
Yes.
No, and everybody in the state, when you're in primary school, you sing it, secondary school, you sing it. So you know it, and it's a way of shaping people's minds and beliefs.
You know, it's only one song from Lagos I know. Only one, not the Ayo song, trust me. Only one song. It was my auntie, Mrs. Durojaye. We call her Mama Wisdom. She was the one that taught me. Ekolo leti yosa.
Yes.
You know that means that Lagos owns the sea or the waterways. You can't take it to Abuja.
Yeah.
Like we own the seaway. Just on the side.
But you know what? You that
you have
you understand? Exactly.
With pride
every language, every community is entitled to have that. And they should be able to say it, understand it, connect with it. You cannot say it in Yoruba, you can't say it in English because it's not it.
Let me take a call from Hassan. Good morning, Hassan. You're live. Thanks for calling.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
This issue of language, we just have to be very careful about it. And there's nothing wrong in you promoting your languages so that it doesn't go extinct. There's nothing wrong. But politics to it, I disagree with politics to it. In some states, you have many languages. How do you impose one language on the remaining one? It's like Nigeria, coming up with one language. That means you are imposing your own on the rest. There's nothing wrong with that. But let me tell you one thing. English has come to stay in Nigeria. Because we were discovered. We were discovered. And those people knew the essence of that language for them to make sure your lingua franca is English language. Secondly, with regard to the Obiajulu and Tokwe, you see, in Delta State, there are Ika Igbo.
Yes.
And many other Igbos also.
Ika is not Igbo,
of the fringes. The Igbo of the fringes. You see, the Ika Igbo is Igbo.
It's not Igbo, sir.
You understand? Ika Igbo is Igbo. What you see is the dialect. Is the dialect that comes within one singular Igbo. And in Ijebu is Yoruba. You understand? Ijebu is a dialect. You understand? Because all the Ijebu understand the mainstream Yoruba. The same thing with the Igbo in the Delta. So this issue of trying to make sure that this one a language is a language. It's a dialect within the Yoruba. The Ika Igbo is the Delta. You understand? They are Igbo, but they're just
okay, we have.
Can I respond? I know. You said Bisi said something earlier. She said all languages. She was trying to talk about the composition of how languages come up. Every language has a source language. So you have Yoruba, and if you listen to most parts of Edo, you will hear many Yoruba words.
Yes.
If you are even the Ika that she is saying, which is where what BC wants to talk about, if you listen to her speak that particular dialect, you will hear a bit of Igbo.
Yeah.
So if we go to the north, there is Hausa, and there are some that Hausa sourced those languages. Then we have some that there are other things that the language is different, that is not sourced by Hausa. So if we want to pick languages, we need to really research into the source of each of those languages. And you might be able to find there's a commonality to some of the Middle Belt ones, there's a commonality to some of the Igbo ones, because Igbo is very different from what they speak in Cross River.
All right.
Yes.
Totally.
I know BC wanted to respond to the last caller.
Yes.
I also
so
have
the
some.
Ika language itself is closer to Edo than Igbo.
Okay.
Yes.
So is it more Yoruba then?
Yes. So I think even the Igbo, like my own side of Igbo, we all came from. If you trace our history, the Asaba people we are traced to the Oduduwa. So we have some similarities with Yorubas, and yet we speak a language that is close to Igbo. So I think it's just the way they did the mapping, taking different people and scattering them all over, you know, that sort of separated us. But the Ika language itself is more Edo than Igbo.
Right. Okay, so I was going to talk about geopolitical zones because BC mentioned it often. The geopolitical zones are, as they said, geography and political. So you know that in Nigeria, even the borders of Nigeria were just carved out geopolitically. But you know, we are beyond those borders. So it's hard to say because I'm in the same geopolitical zone that was created by someone who wanted to just have maybe one to make it for easy administration, chose that, but did not really pay attention to the individual people and communities in there. So that's why it will make it hard. But I was going to say politically, where I want to agree with Hassan.
I want to come the political part when we come back. Stay with us, we'll be right back. Let's pause on. Stay with us.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
So, have you ever wondered what happens behind the curtains of a man's mind? Or perhaps you're one of those who wonder what men talk about when they gather. Well, here goes. Imagine what it takes to put together the perfect cocktail. Or maybe mocktail. We need a bit of sports, a sprinkling of current affairs, some very deep topical issues, and last but not the least, a healthy dose of grumbling of those we love to hate. And yes, you guessed it, women. So, if you catch the drift, then you're onto something. We will provide you with the right insights into most of your curiosities, right here within this beautiful cocktail we call the Black Table.
Ladies and gentlemen, make welcome pioneer Positive Force member, dancing queen of the 80s, non-conformist, Afrobeat historian in her right, and long-standing member of the multiple award-winning all-female show Your View, Omoyeni Yeni Anikulapo Kuti, aka YK Power. Ginger.
Take it.
Today we'll go here.
Hey, I don't read you.
Are you sure?
I'm not here to answer questions. I'm here to drink.
We're in trouble today.
Wait till your age.
I was close now.
I
said 1975.
He said 73. He said 75. Fellas wasn't even born till 75.
So will I drink half?
You go drink. Take. Make I help you. Russian.
No be half.
Which half? You will make me drink. I'll give you a hint.
Lights in no. Nepa Road. Nepa Road.
Hindi. Thanks for staying with us. We're still discussing this matter of language. And it started off first with Lagos State tweeting in Yoruba. And then it went to Bauchi State making Hausa the official language. And we talked about different angles. But let me come to Mariam. Mariam's going to take us into a different angle.
Yeah, so I was talking about the geopolitical, and I said that so the zones were created really for administrative purposes, not really paying attention to the differences, you know, in the different communities. And also that when you talk about, I like what Hassan was saying, that, you know, this language, when you now make it an official political language or language that be used in political political administrative offices, then it sort of brings a problem, which I foresee, because doing that does not necessarily make people even want to love the language or speak the language. Right now, the way it's done, there are many people of different origins that live in Lagos State that speak Yoruba like this. There are people that live in the north that speak Hausa so great. There's some people who be like, are you really not Hausa? I say, no, I'm Igbo. I've met an Igbo person that speaks Hausa better than I do, you know? So it depends. So Nigerians already, we travel to different parts of the country. We pick up the language, we accept the language, and that is what I feel we should encourage. Then our different, that is more likely to bring unity than taking a language, especially if you don't do it well. In the regions that I have highlighted, I'm giving like a blanket language that is more likely to cause problems. But just allow people to mingle. After all, we're intermarrying, you know. Whether we like it or not, some people would lose some of their languages because they have married into a family and it's predominantly, you know, one language or one culture over another. So that is what I feel that we should encourage. And I think we also do that with NYC. People will go and spend a year doing their NYC in one state, and they've picked up some things in the state. And when they leave and they see you from that state, they are excited to be connected to you based on language.
Let me take this call. Good morning, Lap.
Hello, good morning, my
Thanks for calling. You're live. Yes.
I am the first caller of this.
Welcome to the show. Lapnen. Okay.
And in fact, I am so very happy with the program that you people are on now.
Lapnen.
I am Angat by tribe.
Yay.
I come from
Plateau State.
Oh, okay.
And usually the issue of language. Well, language is what we teach. But I think by God, we are all one.
Yes, we are.
Then the issue of that language, either Plateau, Benue, Lokoja, Taraba, Gombe, Maiduguri, all those areas I count, they have so many different kind of languages.
Yes.
So then you cannot come today and enforce Hausa for me. I am Angat by tribe. You want me to follow you because I speak Hausa with you. It cannot work because I am Angat by tribe.
Yeah.
I migrate from Yemen to Maiduguri, from Maiduguri to Plateau. Then why will I come now? Today you come from one corner. You tell me that I am Angat or I am Hausa. That one cannot work. That is where the problem is coming. That's why some people, when they come, if they know that they are the dominant, they would like to come to other language.
Thank you, Lapnen.
I don't think the conversation is about forgetting your identity.
Yes.
I just think the conversation is about projecting one national front for to strengthen us, to strengthen who we are as a people, to strengthen how the international and other countries will look at us and say, okay, these people have this and these people. It's simply for identification and for labeling. So nobody is saying because you now want to make this one superior to. It's not about superiority. It's about just, okay, how are we projecting to the world? That's what I see. And if we sit here with everything else and highlight all the ways something will not work, that thing will never work. The conversation should be, is this even a possibility? How can we do this? How can we have this conversation? What sort of conversations are we supposed to have? Which stakeholders, which language professionals are we going to engage? Let's present some things to the table. Let's begin to look at it. But if we just close our minds and close our hearts, we will not get anywhere. So I believe personally in one Nigeria. I've not been speaking my own dialect for a very long time. It doesn't mean I've lost who I am or I've forgotten that I'm an Asaba person. When they forced me or they taught me in school to speak, not forced, taught me in school because it was a prerequisite. In primary school, you must learn local language. My parents did not revolt to say, why are they not speaking Asaba dialect? I learned what was presented to me as the national language for that place. If my husband speaks Yoruba,
because that was what they taught him in school.
That's what they taught him in school. He did not revolt to say, I am Ika. Why are they teaching me Yoruba in school? It was what was presented. Right. So for the national good, we may have to revisit some things and swallow our language ego, because what I hear sometimes is nobody wants to be suppressed. This is original to me. This is what I must project. But when it comes to national discourse, some things may just have to step down for others.
Point taken.
Language ego.
Good morning, Femi. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Thanks for calling. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, I'm a first-time caller.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. This language discourse, I'm very, very interested in it. And I think it's foundational.
Yeah.
The Bible says that if the foundation is rotten, what can the righteous do?
Yeah.
We have this issue about there is politics in it, and there is tribalism in it.
Thank
For
you.
instance, you are in Lagos, and you have been living in Lagos for 3 years. You cannot speak the language. When you speak to them, they say that, I know they speak Yoruba. So why can you live in a place and not being able to speak that language? If you live in a community, you integrate with that community, learn their language first and foremost, so that you can relate with them very well. That's one angle. The other angle is that this NYSC thing, they were discussing this morning, and I think the NYSC something is wrong. If you go to a place to serve for 1 year, you must be able to speak the language of that community before coming back to your own community.
Thank you.
If that is not in place, then the NYSC should design a program such that when you get to that community, you have language class, maybe for 1 or 2 hours every week, when you go to do your community something, where you be taught the local language. So I think at this time, this nation, that the state, the state assemblies that are going back to it, they are doing the right thing.
Mr. Lufemi,
yes?
Let me ask you a question. So we got that part of the argument, which is great. But let me ask you your thoughts, because people are saying that the state government is, I'm trying to say it in English, I can't find the English word, is paying to the non Yoruba speaking people within Lagos with this attempt to be tweeting in Yoruba. Do you agree?
How do you say
nobody can be forced to speak a language.
Okay.
You get my point? But it deals that individual, that when you live in that community, you must be able to speak that language so that you can relate with the people. That's why we have this problem. Even within the individual homes, the parents will tell their children, don't speak Yoruba.
Okay.
Why we tell children, look, I have 6 children, and they are doing very well.
You have 6 children?
One of them is MSc, master's degree, and I don't speak English to them within the home. I don't speak English to them. I speak Yoruba to them. And look, if you speak your own language very well, you know your language very well, you will be able to speak English very well. Because you can transmit from one language to the other.
Yes.
If you don't speak your...
I think I've shared that example here. My husband said he didn't start speaking English until he entered secondary school, GSS1. That's when he started learning English for the first time.
He learned it
and
right.
He speaks fluent Yoruba and fluent English. All right, we have to wrap up soon.
Yes, I was just going to say about this language ego. It's important because it's an identity. It's a very strong one. The part of my conversation is not that nothing can be done. It's just that in doing anything, you have to take cognizance of the differences that we have. You know, as our last caller said, this is a foundational issue. It has to do with people and their way of life and their belief system. So if you understand that, then you understand that when you pick a language without, taking into cognizance these people, it has unintended consequences. Yes, it may be good for business, it may be good for one united front, but the unintended consequences will be how you will be sidelining or disenfranchising some people in some way that they don't feel like a part of a group because they have been blanketed over. And that's why I'm going back to the South African story. If it was not so important, they would have continued with the English and Afrikaans. It is important. language is important. It's important, those small communities or small languages, as much as we would like a unified front, it is important that we understand that it cannot happen without acknowledging the different cultures, different communities, different languages. It is not ego. Yeah. It is pride. And it is the essence of who we are. We would not have a Nigeria if we didn't have these languages. It's also the conversation you have with blacks and whites abroad, where they are saying, oh, some people are saying, we don't see color. And they're saying, no, see color, see that we are different, and understand the differences within our community and respect it. And that is what I am trying to say. Don't be in a hurry to give us a blanket language. It would divide more than it will unify us.
So I get that. So, but what I'm hearing, however, is that it's more for administrative purposes.
Yes.
So you still have that your identity, your own language, but if we can have a language that, okay, when we get to the office, just like we've adopted English as the general administrative language, but we have our individual languages.
I find that dangerous.
Okay. All right, so I was going to attempt to read this, because now that they've tweeted in Yoruba, we are forced to read in Yoruba. So let me read this, just to show the governor that I have gotten your message. Gómìnà Babájídé Olúṣọlá Sanwó-Olú yan akọ̀wé àgbà méje mìíràn lẹ́ka ètò ìlera ìjọba ìpínlẹ̀ Èkó, àtẹ̀jáde kan tí olórí àwọn òṣìṣẹ́.
You're reading Yoruba like me.
Right? I'm getting it right now.
Sort of. Yeah.
Right? Wait, calm down. Kan tí olórí àwọn òṣìṣẹ́ ọba ìpínlẹ̀ Èkó, Ọ̀gbẹ́ni Akeem Múrìòkúnọlá, fọwọ́ sí, ṣàlàyé pé òṣìṣẹ́ ètò ìlera làwọn ẹni tí wọ́n yàn sípò náà látàrí ọwọ́ òkùnkùndùn. What's that?
All I know is I need to say something funny. When I put the Google Translate, you know, where you put there's some things that they translated. I'm sure that's not what the government so we need to be careful.
All right, we got to wrap up. But it's really, it's really interesting. I struggled, but I'm very good at Amiohum.
Yeah.
I'm extremely good.
If you took your time.
Yes, if I had taken my time, I would have gotten it right.
What's it often?
Yes, over and over. So
the marking
tone marks.
Going,
the tone marks, yes. It tells you how it's pronounced.
Down.
But I'm really good at that. All right, let's go on a break. When we come back, move on to another topic. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Come close. After all, it's Your View. Join us on Your View, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. for a fantastic conversation. Don't miss it.
Ikechukwu, Sunday, Okonkwo, aka Cross. Now your intro without you.
Wow.
So there's a name that's.
I'm just drinking because you say I should drink. There's no particular answer.
You think it's only that can be wicked?
What's the answer?
Subterfuge.
Eh?
Yeah. They claim you did, but you said it just happened.
And it's called what again?
Subterfuge.
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 So you look me finish from head to toe. You look at a person who go know what to become subterfuge. Yeah?
The nude wasn't like a game plan.
I promise you, it was actually a mistake. Like it was sending it to someone, and it just mistakenly just.
So, have you ever wondered what happens behind the curtains of a man's mind? Or perhaps you're one of those who wonder what men talk about when they gather. Well, here goes. Imagine what it takes to put together the perfect cocktail. Or maybe mocktail. We need a bit of sports, a sprinkling of current affairs, some very deep topical issues, and last but not the least, a healthy dose of grumbling of those we love to hate. And yes, you guessed it.
The AKI, but really, I wanted to get his name, Ositame.
Chinedu.
Chinedu Ikedieze. So he came on social media he did a video to address a lot of his, what he said his DM has turned into an ATM. Like, it's a request that when he opens his DM, it's a constant, that he is not Bank of Industry. It's a constant request all the time. That even, how do they think he is making the money? Where do they think he is getting money from? Somebody was asking him for $35,000. Another person was asking, as like a lot of people asking for a huge amount of money, ridiculous amount of money. And he said, it is wrong. We need to stop this. And that's what I was discussing, because we also are on the receiving end.
Right,
so the amount, Abi.
So the amount was obviously outrageous, $35,000, which is about 27 million naira, and that was asking for $12,000. He wants me to open a shop, So now there are two things. People see celebrities who are spending money, stupendous money on social media, buying Versace, buying all these big brands, traveling up and down. They're living in the nice, luxurious hotels, going for exotic vacations, and they're saying, okay, give me some of that money now. I need to start business. I need to pay school fees. I need to do something. So that is there. Now, would you blame them for making a request to them? Because sometimes they've been lucky. You send that kind of request to a celebrity, and it's in a good mood. He says, send your account number. We see it all the time. Celebrities say account number. They send you $10,000 or 1,000 naira. That money comes in handy. So it's a try your luck thing where I send a request to you because you're hoping that they might be in a good mood, and they say, you never know, you might be reaching celebrity when the pastor just told you, give to the first 10 people that call to you, and you make it. However, there are some people, who are just regular folks, or who are just like you and I, earning salary. People see us on social media, and suddenly we are blown, and they are requesting us to support them, but it happens all the time, and that's the conversation, because YK said it, we need to discuss the spirit of begging. Because some you beg and you say, so sorry, I don't have it. But they insist that, you should have it now. What do you look at your hair? A whole you? No, please, I'm only asking for 100,000 naira. I'm sure you have it. So there are some people that kind of go overboard, insist on it. So that's the conversation we're having today. BC, let me come to you.
I like how you captured the whole thing, saying that it could be trial luck.
Yeah.
And it's happened to a lot of us, especially on this table. There are sometimes you get this request and your spirit moves you. Like, I've paid people's school fees.
Yeah.
I don't know them before. They used to catch me with education. What is education? Like this, I'm melting. I'm like, and I just sent, my spirit just said, send it. I didn't even ask. The lady was like, she sent me her house address. She sent me her school. She sent me letters to show that she was genuine. She really needed the help. But I sent it before I even saw some of those things, because I worked with my spirit. But the most annoying part for me is the one that somebody will say, they've not chatted you before, they don't know you from anywhere, they'll just drop, hi, I need money for so and so and so and so and so, God bless you, and put account details. And I'm wondering, did I even ask for your account details? Where do you want me to get this money? I don't even respond to such messages. And I feel it's, people should learn some soft skills in approaching people. And I understand that Nigeria is hard, right? Sometimes I wonder, don't they have family members? They may also not have family members that are able to help them out, okay? But even if that's begging, there's an approach you use. You don't say hi and just start making requests. You introduce yourself. If the person has the time to read all of those, because some people might actually, like you said, Pastor has said, give 10 people that reach out to you, or you're in the mood to give. A lot of people believe that when they give, they receive more. Right. So as you're doing work, like every month, I put aside of my budget for help. I call it a charity, right? It's part of my monthly allowance. I just draft so and so amount. So sometimes people get lucky and I'm able to give from there. But when I finish that quota, I finished it and there's nothing I can do for you. But if you learn how to approach properly, even if the person says, I don't have, I'm not giving, or does not reply, you don't take it like all these people. They will come on social media and be flaunting. Somebody told me, but you say you get money now. I was not looking for where I had a conversation with her that I had money. So people need to, I won't say don't beg, because it's a part of our culture.
Wow.
But
or don't ask. You can ask, not
Is it?
beg.
What's ask?
Begging and asking is different.
It's the same thing.
No, begging is I'm begging you. I'm constantly. You're being a
I'll
bit
block
more.
you. If you disturb me too much, I'll block you.
Yeah.
Asking is begging because you don't know me. We don't have a relationship.
Right.
So if I come to you, Mariah, and say, please, I need so and so, I ask you. I'm not begging you because we have a relationship. But somebody who doesn't know me will just make a request. That's begging now. I don't know.
Okay,
maybe
let me come to you.
I agree.
Mariam, your thoughts. Have you experienced this? And what are your thoughts on this corporate begging matters that we see? I mean, this guy said they've turned his. He said idea to Bank of Industry because
it's so funny. I think really now it's about the begging that we're talking about, not about the giving. You know, because we give as the Lord leads. I really don't like to talk about giving. But the begging, especially on social media, can come across as a bit entitled, insensitive sometimes, and sometimes you can get some rude comments. At first, I think it was a Lagos problem, but I've been told that it's everywhere. Because I would never forget.
Who's blaming Lagos for everything?
I will tell you because I have to experience it. And I experienced some new things, culture shock, you know. So I will never forget one time someone stopped me and asked followed me. I stopped at a fast food place, followed me in there. I was a bit uncomfortable. I saw the person hovering about. I got out, got back into the car, and then the person approached me and said, please, could you give me? And I had the change I had on, I gave it to him. He said, only this? I have never heard it in my life. That's all will ask you for something and you give them what you have. And it was my last change. I just handed over. Only this one. You're more than this. I was in shock. I was telling everybody, this Lagos, this is how they do it.
It's everywhere.
It's everywhere now. The thing has spread. You know, because it's a sign of lack of proper upbringing. You don't have... It just shows that people are not being brought up properly.
Right.
Begging is not a virtue. I have to say, that's the truth. It's not a virtue. We have to learn some sort of contentment. I'm not saying that life is not hard. But also, I've noticed that the people that constantly beg, that beg are usually people that are begging from place to place. People that are begging from, you know, to have a lifestyle, you know, begging for a lifestyle. And I don't think that that's the right way to go about life. Try and do your work, you know, put in the best that you can. Whatever God has given you at that time, do the best that you can. If you're desperate, that's where we talk about government and all the philanthropic causes. There are places like that that you can reach out. And then giving, you should allow the person to come from their place to reach out.
All this philanthropy. Let me take Lucinda, come back to you. Good morning, Lucinda. Thanks for calling.
Good morning.
You're live. Go ahead, please.
Hello?
Yes, you're live.
Yeah, I'm a first-time caller.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you. I'd like to make a point. During the tumultuous times when when there was no money, our relatives had to use POS. So I reached out to many people, some of them, you know, for burials, randomly, you know.
We're having difficulty hearing you, Lucinda. It's breaking out. I think she was trying to say that I didn't get her, but I thought she said something about reaching out to family.
So
for money or something like that.
So when it comes to people asking for things, I think that we all have different upbringing. I think it has to do with how you've been brought up. Because no matter how tough things are, my default would be I would find a way, like create a solution, create a product, just find a solution, not ask someone for that thing, especially someone I don't have any relationship with. And I think we should speak against that. You shouldn't walk to somebody that you don't know in any form to ask for something. And here's what my opinion is, and it might be pride or arrogance. I know if you know you are a resourceful person, you know that you are on a journey towards greatness. You don't want someone to feel like there was this story about you, how you were begging for money everywhere. God can lift anybody. I think that we should talk about building relationships, so that when you have a need, you have somebody to reach out to. Because there's no human being that does not have a need. Every human being, at some point in time, there'll be someone, you will have a need. And if you have a need, you should have somebody around you that knows you and cares enough about you that will be able to support you in that time of need. Then you too, don't make it a habit to always be in need, that you now need somebody and they will now see you and see that this person is asking for money. That's one. Another part that is very important is when people come and ask for things from me, I, like many people, everybody here I know has a charity budget-ish, conscious, and the ones that you just do as the spirit leads. Because I have met so many people that are commercial beggars, and we must admit that there are people that are this is their industry. Like I have work that I'm doing now. For some people, their job is to beg. They wake up in the morning, dress up, and they go out on the streets, and they beg, and they have a target of how much they will make. And they go around and they do this. That's their source of work. I don't give people like that money. How do you know? To prevent that, I chose to do charity through my church that I know has benevolence. So you come and meet me and say you want help. I'll tell you, come on Sunday to this address. They give food every Sunday. And go and, not food, they give bags every Sunday. And in church this Sunday, it was announced that, see, we need to get more because the number of people that come to collect food has increased. So I know now I will do through that channel. Some people support Cocoon Foundation because they know Cocoon does food. But if you are someone that goes into DM to ask for money, I would not listen to you because my idea is you don't know me. You would have sent to and it has happened before. The person sent to all of us. And I know 2 people are giving money to that person. So you need 100,000, you send to 50 people. You have got 500,000 naira. That's me, I'm struggling to make it.
Let me take this call from. Good morning, thanks for calling.
Yeah, good morning.
You're live. Go ahead, please.
Okay, my name is Najib Abbas from Zaria, Kaduna State.
Thanks for calling. Go ahead.
It's hot, isn't it?
Okay. To me, if know you and you are requesting on social media like that, I won't respond. Actually, if you really need help, there are some kind of people that you can go straight forward and ask them. Within your family, you can have some that they are really want to assist anytime that you want. So I don't see any reason that you will be asking people on social media for help.
Oh, I lost that, Mujid. You see, I wanted to bring an angle fact that people beg because they need, and because sometimes, as I said earlier, when celebrities are celebrities, some people send a message or request or asking or beg a celebrity and they get it done. And you have a friend who asked Davido for money or who asked somebody and Davido send them money. That's somebody's testimony. And I also want that same testimony. And that's why I'll send a DM also to Dave just in case I get it. So sometimes when you get this request, you don't have to respond to it, but you must understand where that the person, where the man is, what the woman is coming from.
You're talking of intention here.
Yes, intention.
Right? So
yes.
someone has made a legitimate request, and Davido or whoever responds to the person, and the person, what the next person is doing is that he has seen a method of receiving money. So it's not a legitimate request. It's so this is a method of reaching out to people, and who knows who I might try. So it's really about the intention. That's what. Talking about giving and taking is quite hard because, you're trying to differentiate asking and begging. For me, I feel it's...
I think begging is persistent. Asking is just one-off.
No,
that's how
you can
I like the way my
you can ask persistently.
Yes.
Really, you can ask persistently. And a lot of people have used the Bible to do
God
this.
will bless you.
Remember the widow that stayed by the lawyer's house until she overpowered him with her asking. He listened to her and they said, ask and you shall receive. And I've heard people even say this to me, that if you don't ask, you will never receive. But I was brought up to be told, figure it out yourself. You have to be, that's why for someone to ask of you sometimes, and especially there's some sort of people I know, for me, I feel that for that person to have asked, that person has done all that they can to come and ask.
Like genuine.
Yes, but many people have just figured out that there's a system. Just throw out this thing to 10 people, who knows, maybe 2 answer. Then there's alms. You're asking for alms. Alms, people that collect alms, they are not asking you for a specific amount. Whatever is within your heart or means, you drop it and they bless you and you go. And it's also a religious thing where when you give alms, you get blessings. So are you on the street with your alms, collecting whatever they give you? Is that who you are? But there are some people that we know that they have turned this into a business where they just want to see who It's vulnerable.
Please, let's you know, we like
defining beggar.
We always define it in our own way and our own understanding. According to the English dictionary, ask is to look for an answer to a question by speaking, while beg is to request the help of someone, often in the form of money. So there's no ask in this matter.
No, I can ask you, please, can you give me, like, can you help me with my school, my children's
So
school?
if you're asking, you can ask for a loan, but you cannot beg for a loan.
That's beg.
Yes, you can.
Ask for a loan.
No, so
but
that
is ask for a loan, but you can beg
English
for
language.
Anybody is beg.
We just try to make ask seem like it's higher than ask is question. Me and you, what we're doing now, you ask me, I answer. You ask us, we answer. That's
I can ask you for a loan, just like you said. I can ask you. It's a question.
That's a loan.
That's a loan. But if you beg me for dash,
are you able to help? Okay. Are you
able to pay for my school fees? Yes, that's
are you able to pay for my school fees?
That's different.
It's a question.
But if you beg me for money,
no. Okay.
So we are, so we are doing it's an education. Because we're teaching people. Some people right now that they are watching all their life, they've always known that if I need money, I'll find one uncle that will ask, that will give me. I'll go and beg this uncle, I'll beg this auntie. When I was in school, I was enjoying. My brother, my sister, this one, they will send me money. So that's the mindset. So even as they become adults, they are still always looking for somebody to buy me a phone. This one to buy me this one. I want a shoe. Buy for me. They are always collecting from people. That's your habit. That is a bad habit.
Go and work.
We must talk about that. Establish that.
Let me pause you for a second, please. Lucinda is back from the UK. Good morning, Lucinda. Hopefully we can hear her now. Good morning, Lucinda.
Good morning. Good morning. Love you very much, the whole panel. Now, my point is, at the time when, during the lack of money, you know, people were using POS, I sent money to everybody, even the workers who work for me.
Okay.
Now, they had a real need of burial sometimes, but they took advantage of that. Now, every time they broke, oh, Mama, can you send us this? I want to do this. I want to do the other. No, UK is going through a lot.
As well.
We are we are feeling differently as well somehow. And so somebody to come and give you at least £30 is coming out of the budget of the home.
Yeah,
exactly. So they shouldn't do that. People should try their best to see that, you know, they are able to care for themselves. If it's a child, if it's a mother, single mother, she's having problems with children going to school to eat, we can understand that. But all in all, Morayo, you should form a foundation as such, where we can put our resources, and then you deal the best people to give it.
Yeah, thank you, Lucinda. I mean, thank you, Lucinda. That's something I've always thought about, because we get these requests all the time. There's got to be a structure to this giving. They put a foundation together that can actually help and support, because the requests always come. Some will be legitimate, and some will be just taking advantage.
For me, I have a religious body. My church does this. They give food, they give clothes on a weekly basis. At a point, they reduce it to 2 times in a month. I know Cocoa Foundation does the same thing as well, and people do use their platform to give. And we must start supporting those kind of...
No, it's not food they want to. They want you to give them money.
So, let me explain another thing.
To pay
so I discussed with someone. My children are going to secondary school. The school we're going into was based on choice of finance. We did exams in 2 schools. When I got the bill for the first school, I could have forced myself and say, I'm going to do this.
Yeah.
But I looked at the budget and I'm like, I'm not going to put my kids in this school. I'll now be forced every time. I will never have to beg, but I don't want to inconvenience myself or put our family into financial strain.
Yeah.
So if you find yourself in a school that you cannot afford to pay for, then you will go choose a school that you can afford to pay for, not beg someone for money to pay for that school fees per time. Then building relationships.
Afford any school at all.
There's public school. Now let's
remove.
No,
BC.
No, BC.
You write things in those public schools.
Let me put it. Let's see. Begging is a choice that we choose to make.
I know.
And when we talk about making those choices, is that we feel like they are better off than me and they should be helping me. But like I said, I didn't want to, it's not pointing fingers to anybody. We're teaching because some people don't know better. So first is that don't beg. Find a way to solve a problem for that person Two, build relationships. There are interns in this office that have gone through here that if they call me that they need money for balancing their school fees, I will not blink. It might cost me. I might ask my husband. I will support them. Because when they were interns just in TVC and they spent 3 months or 6 months, the quality of relationships they built, everybody knew them. Everybody liked them, even beyond the department they were assigned to work. And they probably maintained that relationship even after then. But you have lived your life till 35 and you don't know anybody that you know that cares about you enough that will help you. You have a problem. It's not me. So let us deal with the issue.
Yes, it's deep and I understand, but I have seen situations where life battered people. So this is not because they want to be beggars. They will present they have handwork, but because of the location of where they are not able to put it to use, or there are no customers who would patronize, that kind of thing. I've seen those very dire situations, and it wasn't something I could remove my face from because I did not understand. So I had those conversations. It was as bad as we cannot, in fact, they've sent these kids away from school. I have to take them to my mother. I don't even have money to register them to a public school. So there are very deep situations that somehow you just have that milk of human kindness and say, okay, what can I do to ensure that these children stay in school while you start doing something so that subsequently you're not coming back to me all the time.
So when you come back all the time,
hold on. No, so far so good. This person has not come back. Right? This person
is a specific one.
Yes.
Majority come back. Yeah, I wish we can call Nima. Nima will tell you stories.
Hold on now.
Nima will tell you stories.
Allow me to talk. Let's not cancel everybody.
They are
unique situations. That is where your intuition and the gift of the Holy Spirit will help you to discern. Is this person coming to me genuinely? And if it's laid in your heart to help, please help. If these ones are thieves, if you trust your intuition so bad, if they hurt you 1 time, 2 times, you will sift them out. But let's not invalidate the fact that some people actually genuinely need this help, and they don't have anybody in their community. Nobody in their family is even big enough, small, to even help them. Maybe they are all on the same level, all struggling one way or the other. Let's not cancel them out.
Thanks for calling. Tunde calling from the UK. You're live. Thanks for calling.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Please, I just want to add my voice to what you're discussing. Am I allowed to probably start with your earlier discussion this morning?
Absolutely. It's your view. Let it count.
Okay. In terms of the language, I think language is very essential for development. And in case of Nigeria, the first thing I think to do is to repartition the country along ethnic and language lines. Okay. Because doing this will facilitate development. And it's going to come with its own benefits and disbenefits like any other change. Yeah. A change comes with benefits and misbenefits or disbenefits. Yeah. For the Southwest, it is easier because we have everybody speaking the same language. The Yorubas in Kwara will probably be ceded to the Southwest, and the Southeast, in some parts of Kogi and some Kogi, I think Benue, and the South, we have Igbo-speaking people. They go to the Igbo side of things, and we're going to have a multicultural environment in the North. But if my knowledge of the North is what I think it is, there's an established lingua franca already in the North, which is Hausa.
Thank you very much, Tunde. Thank you for sharing your views. I lost my train of thoughts on what I was going to say, but go ahead, Sakwe.
So, one, I'm not, like I said, it's not judging or casting aspersion. Like I said, I kept repeating, it is let us learn. You know why I'm saying we're learning is because there are places where you serve in church. There are churches, most churches where you serve. Somebody is serving there and you face challenges. You know, you can call someone in church that will be able to do what? Help you out. Right. And because you have displayed diligence in some form of way, you have built relationships. The real lesson for me is, and I know that life can happen to everybody. Yeah. Because my mom said one time, she called me, she was like, the way you shared my stories, like you think, you made it look like we were always poor. No, but we had a time when she was duped of a whole lot of money and we had major challenge. It was not she did not think of begging anybody. It was a case of we would drink our gari and pray that God will send food to us. And somebody just voluntarily just came in and brought rice and tomato paste for us. And that was God showing up. And sometimes you build relationship, you know somebody that can help you. That's another side. Another thing I wanted to say, because we know there are genuine people that have needs, and you help them, and then it becomes a revolving circle where they keep coming back. You pay the rent for the first year, rent for second year. You're now paying the school fees for their children, first child, second child, third child.
But that's what the caller said, Lucinda, where she understood at the time when we're having the cash crunch, and she was helping. But eventually, they figured out a system, and they were asking her for everything in spite of what they are going through right now. And that's what we're focusing on. So I'm happy that you highlighted that, but you know, that's not the focus today. We're talking of people who have turned begging into a lifestyle, and without genuine reason for the begging, only for them to just get what they can get from anyone that they can get.
There was a lady I had to block, somebody that, I used to work with her in the past, and life happened to her. And obviously, I even remember the other story, myself and YK actually, I decided to help a lady. If you remember the gunshot wound, I think, something like, you know. So YK took one child, I took the other child, and we paid the person's school fees till they finished the school. And after that, the lady left us. Because she appreciated that, okay, you guys are handling. That was what she wanted. And if she calls me tomorrow now, I ask me one, I will give her, because I know that she had tried to make a life of herself. Because after the school fees, she wrote me a long message, Morale, my son has graduated, congrats, thank you very much. And I was happy, and they moved on with their life. That kind of genuine situation, absolutely. Now, there was another person.
If you didn't give, you won't have known.
No, what I'm saying, so there's the genuine giving. But somebody will take advantage of that.
Yes.
After graduation,
someone back. Someone like that also. There are people like that. You have decided this is what I want to help with. But then they'll ask you for
money for.
They'll ask you for this.
I'm not
They'll ask you for, a relative of ours passed on, and it is important for me to visit. And you're thinking, yes, I've helped.
Or some, you want to pay the school fees, they will tell you pay it to my own account.
Sometimes if you don't help, you won't know, right? But the idea is do not enable them. So when they come the first time and maybe the Spirit said help, and you help and they come back, you tell them no. You must learn to say no. And that's why a lot of us get into problems.
Let me read YK's. I'll take one and you tell somebody to take the other one. So YK says two things. There was one-handed beggar I used to give money and decided to give him a job as a security man. Anyway. He left the job after 1 or 2 months, saying he made more money from begging and relocated to Ibadan, so I would not see him on the road.
Good. She's also sent this message. She says, last week a girl came to me, said she wanted to dance. I auditioned her and she couldn't dance. She said she was just coming from Kogi. She had nowhere to stay, wanted to follow me home. I said I had no space. She said she needs a place for her family in Kogi. I said I would look for a job for her. I gave her 2K. And said it wasn't enough. She needed 21 million naira.
Like I said, if I have 21 million naira to give you, I will not give myself.
As in
21 million.
I'm saying. So,
entitlement.
You know, we've not talked about the other side of this part. We have to wrap up because people see us and they just think, governor came to their show.
Some people have asked,
giving them all the money.
They will break it down how I should do it. Break it down. If it's a house they're about to, blocks will cost this will cost this, this will cost this, this will cost this.
Send
it to this account in this so way. I'm telling you.
And they called me to give them, to let them, they want to meet the governor. Somebody told me, I want to meet the governor, please help me. I said, your governor came to your show, I need a job. I've met the governor. Maybe I took picture with the governor of Lagos State. So I have his personal number and I call him every morning. We are eating breakfast together. Parties. Yes. So I should give you a job. Let me push this something. Somebody send me a proposal. I've been trying to get the governor to see this thing. And
me that ordinary MC event with the president. Suddenly, we are going to send the proposal. Come on,
guys. There's one
presenters.
case that I am looking at, and that
we have to wrap up.
Grabs my heart. I just wish that there was something.
Unfortunately, we can't take that story right now. That's all we can take on today's show. Hope you enjoyed it as much as we did.